So for my videos on the 741 op amp, I figured I'd start off with an easy video to show you part of putting the circuit together. You need to power up the op amp, and this is the same for any circuit. So for my videos, I'm going to be using two 9-volt batteries because the 741 op amp needs a split or a dual, however you want to say it, but a split power supply. So you got one battery here providing the positive, so that's going up to pin 7. So on the breadboard I have a little jumper from the positive rail to pin 7 up here. The pins are numbered this way, starting from the top left here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you jump over to the bottom there, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so this will give the pin 7 a positive 9 volts. So after that positive 9 volts goes through the circuit, or the integrated circuit, to the output, then it comes back to ground here, the 0 volts, and that's what completes the positive voltage of the amplification. Remember, there's a signal. This is going to amplify the signal. We'll deal with that in future videos. Now, this battery on the left here. Now this powers pin 4 down here. So I got a little jumper to pin 4. That applies the negative when we're amplifying a negative symbol. So that goes through the integrated circuit to the output, and ultimately it comes back to the ground and then completes the path to the battery. So that's how we're able to alternate the voltage and current coming out of the output. So now to apply the first battery, you would normally do this after your circuit is all built and ready to go, but it's a little easier to show this without the extra components and stuff in the way. So for the first battery, we're gonna plug in the positive, the red wire, into the positive rail, and I have jumpers connecting the positive rail to the other positive rail and the negative rail here to the other negative rail. So both rails are getting the positive voltage now. Now the negative wire though, that's coming to this row, which is connecting the other row by this jumper, and this is going to be our ground. And then we basically do the same thing with the other battery, only this time the positive side is coming to our ground area, our 0 volt reference point, whereas the negative is going into the power rail. So remember, I have a jumper that connects negative to negative and then positive to positive. So right now these batteries are in series, so they're given an 18 volt difference between these two spots. Same with these two spots, so that's something to be aware of. In fact, this I'm just going to unplug these now, but when the batteries are unplugged, that gives 18 volts across this trim pot. I'm going to use this trim pot later for the inputs. I'll show you that later, but beware, parts of the circuit will have 18 volts if you're using two 9-volt batteries across them. So make sure this trim pot can handle that. So this gives us a range of plus 9 volts all the way to negative 9 volts. So that's an 18 volt difference between those 2 points. So here's a little bit closer view. There's a little divot at the top of this pin. I kind of drew it there. Illustration. Sometimes there's a divot over here, but that's how you know you're at the top. So working down left, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Pin 4, we got connected directly to the negative 9 volt, and then this one we have a positive 9 volts to pin 7. Here's the two jumpers I mentioned. If you power one side of the rail, negative or positive, the other side gets powered negative or positive. And there's our ground. So that covers 2 of the pins, the 2 easiest pins, the ones that apply the power. And then so that really only leaves us with 3 other pins we have to learn about. The 2 pins over here, that's a little more advanced. We're not going to worry about that now. So all you really have to learn is 5 pins, and 2 of them are out of the way now.